Hi. So, welcome to my second live stream. And some of you already know this is only a lightning talk. So, today we will talk a bit about Power BI strategies. And yes, say hello if you're in the chat and mention what topic I should do next time. So, next time we have migration, but the time after that. And I also have prepared a little presentation for you, so maybe that we can, go through this and see what is Power BI strategy. So first, what is it and how does it work? And for this, let me show my screen. So first, the initializing the initial situation here. First of all, most of the time, the customer says, I want a report or we want a report, and this is the last thing in this chain, right? So and most of the time this is also the problem because sometimes the export function doesn't work, or sometimes sharing doesn't work, or I don't know, whatever. So and all these topics who didn't work are most of the times of the time are in the processes, in the guidelines, and so on. That means first we have to check if we have already a strategy here, and most of the time we don't have a strategy. That's a fact. Then we have to see, do we have use cases on which we can build the strategy? Most of the time we don't have even concept, use cases, or whatever. And the next big thing is, do we have an infrastructure or a platform where we can build these reports, these awesome Power BI reports? Most of the time, maybe we have one, but it's outdated. So now, what can we do here? So I bring here a little strategy house, and you see we have all these elements which I already mentioned. We have here in this house. So the first on top is a reporting strategy. So that's the roof, and the strategy and sponsor for the theme should be defined before anything else. So otherwise we can forget it. So it doesn't make sense. Then we can decide. So do we start with a use case, which most of the time make more sense than starting with complete. So if you don't have an infrastructure, what I don't believe. So everyone has an infrastructure, right? And even if it's outdated, there's no problem. So we can, for example, build on the use cases we define. We can update these infrastructures on to the newer and more sophisticated things, so like fabric or whatever. And this is very important so that we have defined, for example, the use case. So let's assume we have a use case in HR. So we will build a HR report. And then we have to see, okay, what do we need for this report? So do we have roles and responsibilities? Who's responsible? For example, only examples. Who's responsible for the data? Who's responsible for the report? Do you have a data steward maybe in your organization, and who is handling these data? So do we have a separate person in the specific area for HR, or is it more centralized in IT? Or so there's a lot of things to discuss, right? And then we have the processes and guidelines. In these, we have the things like how can I access this report? How can I export it to Excel, for example? Or when it's refresh time, was also a very small thing, but a very important thing. It depends on the report, right? But it's also a thing for process and guidelines. And then we have the last pillar here, and this is very important. So let's talk about my day. So we most of you know we are from Drive, or I'm from Drive, and I do trainings most of the time, Power BI, and we have a company which had it's an enterprise company, and they want to use the DIAD for trainings. And I said, no, the DIAD is not for training. The DIAD is more marketing thing, so that you know, okay, is Power BI a thing for us, or is it good to use for our enterprise, and so on, and not for train your users. This is not the case. So, and then I asked them, yeah, did you already roll out Power BI? Do you have a strategy? And then the answer was, yes, we roll out Power BI already. I said, no. If you've done this right, the users wouldn't go to our trainings, which are very which have a focus on marketing and not on the strategy for your company, and not where we don't talk about your strategy, your guidelines, your processes, your roles, and so on. This is the marketing event, and not a training, an in-house training. And this is very important. So most of the companies try to, how can I say this, to give this important pillar to others, and maybe also for free if it's possible. And this is a wrong way to save money, because training and community is one of the important things here, beside the guidelines, governance, and so on. But the training and community is the heart of everything, because the people go into this community, ask questions, feel safe to ask the question and get the right answer. So how can I get a Power BI Pro license, for example? Or how does this Power BI service even work? Or do we have Power BI service, or do we have Power BI report server? I don't know, but you should, and you should tell your users what is everything in your company regarding Power BI. And so we can go to my next slide, and you see here we have different concepts in Power BI strategy. So if you are more on, or do you have more focus on IT? So should the IT do everything for you, or regarding data sets, reports? So should the IT build the reports, build the data sets, create the community, and so on? Or should the business do this? So is it more a business thing to build the report, or do you want to split it? So do you want to say, okay, the IT has the responsibility for the data and the business for the report? And if we talk about the reports, not everything regarding the reports, maybe only a little bit. So you get a data set, and then you can go on live connection and build on top the report. Or is it also allowed that the users can, for example, create measures or calculation groups or whatever? So this is a big question here, right? So you have to discuss this first. So what is the strategy behind it? Is it more an IT focus? Is it more business focus? And so on. So this has to be discussed first. This is a very, very important thing. And after this is only a little example of a there's an L missing an example, but this is an example of service levels. So if we talk about a Power BI strategy, and we share it now 70%, so 70% are in IT, and 30% are in the business. So we can say, okay, then the first level maybe is a premium capacity. So you have a premium capacity, and not everyone is allowed to go on this premium capacity. It's only for ready reports. So, and maybe it's also built by the IT. So because the IT knows how to build it. And then we have the second layer. This is a managed self-service. So the users are allowed to build reports, but only on these terms. So maybe for a group up to 10 people, not more. Then pro licenses are required, and for the license you get, you have to make a driver license. Like you have to make a test to assure that you are able to use Power BI. Because I can give you a pro license, of course, but do you know how to build a report after this? I don't think so. So first you have to prove that you are able to do it, and then we can maybe open up a ticket in the IT, and the IT see, okay, we can do this. You have done the driver license, you get the pro license for Power BI, and then you can go on and build your report. But you are also able to, or you are responsible to refresh the reports. You are also responsible for everything regarding these reports. So if the report has some errors in the visuals, you are responsible for it. So the business is responsible because it's a self-service and not the IT. So you can't go to the IT and say, yeah, my managed self-service report doesn't work. Can you fix it? No, because you are in this level, we discussed it and you agreed. And if you want that we build your report and we do the maintenance, then you have to go in the IT managed service and then we can do this. So this is only an example of a strategy, right? And the last thing would be the self-service, the no managed nothing. So you can grab your Power BI desktop, you can start building, you can start playing around with your Excel data and so on. So there's nothing you need to do because if you have the Power BI desktop, okay, you can also upgrade it and say, okay, maybe you get a free license, but then you also have to make a driver license. But this depends on also on your strategy. So what amount of percent you will give your IT, your business, and so on. So there are so many things to see what you have to um, well, everything you need to do a rollout. I have also a little map where you can see, for example, we have not only 3 pillars, so we have also much more, and we have also working packages for this. So for example, if we go into the training pillar. So there are some working packages like set up the platform, set up content, schedule trainings, and so on. So this is one of the things. And also, if we go, for example, in the another pillar, for example, governance, there we have the tenant setup. And the tenant setup is so close to the strategy because if we have the use case, for example, the HR use case, and the people say, yeah, I know the export. I need the export for this report, then we have to go to the Power BI setting and we have to enable this. So this is also part of the strategy, and everything has to be documented because otherwise everything will sink in chaos. So the first thing you have to think right now, if you are already in this state of do we have a strategy, and you say no, I guess I don't have a strategy, then maybe you should check what are the actual use cases. Check your tenant, your Power BI or your report server, check what is in there, check which settings are enabled. Then you can also check which reports are maybe duplicated there. And also, for example, very simple thing, if you build a report, check if the report is used. If the report is not used, you can delete it. So this is called lifecycle management of reports. It's also a process in your guidelines. And yeah, it's very, very simple, but of course, you have to know what you're doing, right? If you not know what you're doing, then you can also ask me if you want. I did the Power BI role a lot of time in small companies and big companies, and there's so many things you have to see and to think about. This is crazy. I had a last project in which I sorry, it's still the cold from the last week, so I have to cough a bit. So sorry, I'm back. Okay, so many things you have to think about, and you can't do this alone. So you need more than one person. This is very important. And yeah, you need a plan. So you need a strategy. And I guess this is all for our work for our stream today. Before I cough again. And thank you for watching, and we will see us next week. Bye bye.